Hi, and welcome to part 4 of the Home Lab setup. In the last video, we went over creating our Active Directory server on our Windows Server 2019 box, which is sitting on a hypervisor Server 2019 box as well. Now what we're going to be doing is we're going to be creating a VM on our hypervisor for Windows 10, and we're going to be later on joining the domain that we have created with that Windows 10 machine. So the first step really to create that VM is going to be downloading the Windows 10 ISO, and Microsoft has done that actually pretty easy for us. So if we come up into a browser here, and you're just going to go to your favorite search engine of choice. Mine here is just Google, so if you do use a different one, your search results may vary a little bit. But if you do a search for Windows 10 ISO, usually the first link will be the link that you want to get, which is going to be download Windows 10 disk image. You're just going to click on that here, and then it's going to bring you to this page here. And if you scroll down, I have to scroll because I'm zoomed in a lot. But you guys won't have to really scroll. You should see this Create Windows 10 Installation Media. You're going to download that tool. I already have downloaded it, so let me just open it up here in my downloads folder. So we have the media creation tool. So let me just zoom in here so you guys can see. All right, so we have the media creation tool. So all you're going to do is you're going to double click on that. And then we are going to go and have this window pop up. And this might take a few moments. It usually doesn't take too long. So we're just going to wait a little bit here. I'm probably just going to fast forward to when this completes. All right, we're back. So it's finally loaded here. So we get the license terms. So we're just going to go ahead and we're just going to accept these here. And then it's going to bring us to another window here. All right, so we're going to get to this screen here and it says, what do you want to do? It's going to give you two options. We're going to go ahead and create installation media, and we're going to click on next. And this is where you're going to select your language, your edition, and your architecture. So your language, you can pick whatever you want. Mine's going to be English United States. The edition, you really only get Windows 10 as the option here. And the architecture, you can either do 32-bit, 64-bit, or both. I'm going to stick to 64-bit for me. And you're going to click on next here. And then you're going to have two options. You can put it to a USB flash drive or an ISO. Since we're going to be bringing this on our hypervisor and we're just going to be loading in the ISO file, I don't need to create a bootable USB flash drive. So we are going to do an ISO file. But if you did want to install Windows 10 on a physical laptop or desktop, um, or just have a bootable thumb drive with Windows 10 on it, you're going to select USB flash drive. And this way it just saves you the extra step of going to Rufus and flashing your thumb drive that way. So we're just going to pick ISO, and you just have to pick a location to save it here. So I'm just going to pick my F drive here. And this will take a little while. I think for me, it took probably close to like a half hour to download and put on the external drive. I could definitely vary based on your internet speeds. I say a half hour, it was probably less than that, but it took around that time. So I will see you guys when this fully completes, and we'll have the file on our external drive, and we are going to be going into our hypervisor. All right, so I do have the Windows 10 ISO here. So let's go ahead and let's just close out of this here. We'll close out of these two tabs. And I do have my server opened up here. So I do have the hypervisor server up and going. All right, and we do see our directory server here as well. So let me just go ahead and let me plug in my external hard drive into that hypervisor. All right, so Alrighty, so this should come up pretty soon. So now if we go into new here and we can select virtual machine, and then we are going to go ahead and click on next here. So it's really pretty much the same thing here. So what we're going to do is we're going to name this Win 10 client. Just so we know that it's a client machine. It's going to be joined to the domain. I might create another Windows 10 administration machine. It kind of depends. I might use the same one. So let's go ahead and let's click on next here. We're going to create it as generation 1 like the last time. And we are going to assign it the memory. So for this one, unlike the last one, I kind of learned my lesson here. Let's put 2 gigs on here just so it kind of helps. You could also use dynamic memory. It will automatically allocate depending on how much it needs at the time, and you can also set upper limits so it doesn't take up too much. But we're just going to put it to a flat 2 gigs. That should be fine for our Windows 10 client. And we are going to select our networking virtual switch here. And for our hard drive, once again, I'm just going to set this to 100 gigs. I don't foresee me really needing more than that, since it's really just going to be a virtual machine that we're going to use the odd time to test certain things. All right, so we're going to click on next here. And when it says to install an operating system, we are again going to select install an operating system from a bootable CD, DVD, ROM. And we're going to pick an image file. And we're going to go ahead and browse. And we are going to browse to our external drive, ISOs, and our Windows 10 here. And let's go ahead and let's click on next and then finish. So this is going to create the VM just like the last time. And we are going to have our Windows 10 client here. And let's go ahead and let's turn this on here. So let's start it up. So this is again going to be very, very similar to our setup of Windows Server 2019. We're going to get the same Windows, really. It's just not going to say Windows Server 2019 here. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to click on next here. We're going to click on install now. And then here we should get a few options. If I remember correctly, we should see like Windows 10 Home, Pro, or anything like that. So we're going to say that we don't have a product key. And then we get all of our options here. So we have Windows 10 Home, Windows 10 Home N, Home Single Language, Education, Pro. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to pick Pro here because we want to join it to the domain. The Home editions cannot join a domain. So you're definitely not going to want to pick Home. Unless this is a computer you don't plan on joining your domain with, then definitely you can select Home. But we're going to select Pro. And we're going to click on next here, and then we're just going to accept the terms and click on next. And like always, we're just going to do an install Windows only custom. Select new here, which is going to set up the drive like we need it to be. And we're going to click on next here. And it's going to be installing Windows. So we're going to let this go, and I will see you guys when this completes. All right, so we're back here. The installation just finished, so it's actually just rebooting now for us. So let's see what comes up here. Just adjust the screen here so you guys can see what's going on. All right, now I'm actually just going to drop this here while we're waiting. So I'm actually planning on probably doing a video in the next few days for installing Windows 11 on a VM. So we're going to be taking a look at how to download the ISO. for you guys. If you guys aren't in the Insider program, this is going to be perfect because I'm not using the Insider program update via the developer channel. We're going to be downloading it um, from a website and then copying that ISO into our hypervisor and then creating a VM that way. I'm just finalizing some final touches on that just to get it working properly. And then we should have that video up pretty soon. So it's still just loading here. Again, like this is probably because I only put 2 gigs. I didn't want to put 1 gig because I figured it would take a little bit more time. So if you guys do have the RAM available, definitely set it to more than 2 gigs. Probably 4 gigs would be like the sweet spot here, since the 2 gigs really just meets the minimum requirements for Windows 10. Um, but it does still work. It just might take a little bit longer here. So I'm actually just going to fast forward this till when it loads up. All right, so it did end up rebooting twice. Just to let you guys know in case you guys did have that question when you guys are doing it on your own here. So we're just going to wait a little bit longer here, and then it should prompt us to create an account and name our computer and go through some of those steps here. All right, so it's asking us for our region. So let's go ahead and let's put in where we're from, which for me, it's actually going to be Canada here. All right, and we're going to do the keyboard layout. We're going to do US, just so you guys can see it properly here. Let me actually just adjust here real quick. Give me 1 second here. All right. Perfect here. So there we have it. So we're going to do the US keyboard layout. And we're going to want to go and we're not going to add a second keyboard layout. We should be fine with just the one. If you do have another keyboard layout, definitely select the one that you have. Also, if you guys have any specific requests for videos, whether it be PowerShell videos or more of these hypervisor videos, server administration videos, definitely let me know down in the comment section. And again, like if I know the topic, I'll definitely do the video almost right away. If I don't, then I might have to do a little bit of research. But definitely, if it's something that I can do, I will make those videos for you guys. All right, so we are back here. So it's asking us how we'd like to set it up, if it's going to be for personal use or organization. So basically what we are going to do is we're going to set up for, let's do it as a personal use. I believe that that will give us the options that we want here. If not, we can always go back, I believe. So let's just wait for this here to finish up. All right, so here we are. So we're gonna have is who's gonna use this computer here. So let's just put in JackedProgrammer here. And let's actually go back. Let's go back one. You're actually going to want to do the setup as a business here because I believe that will let us join the domain right away. So let's just wait to get that window once again here. All right, so we're going to go ahead and set up for an organization. This should give us a couple more prompts here. If this doesn't work, then we will set it up as a personal. It just means we'll have a little bit more work once the VM is up. But I'm hoping that we can save ourselves some work by configuring it as a organization. I was hoping that the personal account was still going to give us the option to, instead of creating an account, joining it to a domain, but it did not give that option. I believe it used to give that option, but not in the newer versions. All right, so here's the options that I was wanting here. So we are actually going to do a domain join instead. So you can either sign in with like a Microsoft work or a school account, or you can actually do a domain join. So we're going to do a domain join here. And this is going to load some more. And it's going to ask us who's going to use this PC. And we're going to do JackedProgrammer here. We're going to have to create a password. So I do believe that the personal account would probably work. I was hoping that this option would give us right away the ability to just join the domain directly, but I don't think that it gives us that option. I do believe that you have to do that within uh, the the Windows operating system here. So we're just gonna put in some garbage questions here. All right, so we're just finalizing. I'm pretty sure that was the last step of the setup here. And then we should boot into Windows. So we're just gonna do no here. No, and just the required. Now those don't really reduce the ads, but at least supposedly they don't listen to you as much. But these days, not a whole lot to do about that. All right, so we are just booting into Windows now. So we're gonna get this high. We're getting everything ready for you. This usually does take a few minutes, so I'm actually just going to fast forward to when this actually completes, and I will see you then. All right, so we are actually loaded into Windows now, so everything is loaded properly here. So we're just going to click maybe later here. So we're just going to do something real simple, and that is joining the domain, and then we're going to have a domain joined computer here, and then we could log in with the Jacked admin account. So to join a domain, what we're going to do is we're just going to, I always tend to actually forget how to do this on Windows 10, but we should be able to right click on the Windows 10 like start menu here and then go into, I believe it's system. And then if we go down here, there should be advanced system settings. If you click on that, and then we should have computer name up here. Then let me actually just go ahead and zoom this in a little bit more for you guys. All right, so there we are. So if we do the rename, so we're going to click on change here. And what we're going to do is we're going to join it to the domain, and we're going to put that to jacked.ca. And we are going to change the name to JPWin10. And we're just going to do JPWin10C for client. And let's click on OK here. Now this should find the domain. Sometimes it will not find the domain. So in this case, if you can't find it, what I usually do, especially since this is a home lab here, we're going to open up the network settings here, and we are going to go ahead and we are going to change the adapter options. And then we're going to right click on Ethernet, click on properties, and we are going to go into IPv4, and we are going to use the following DNS address. And you're going to put in here as your preferred DNS address, you are going to go ahead and put in the IP address of your directory server. So for us, it was 172.30, I believe. Let me actually just go ahead and let's take a look at it. So let's log in here together and let's see. And I believe I just turned it off. So let me just reconnect here and let me get logged in here. So to see your network settings, you're just going to right click on this here, open network settings, and then we're going to change adapter options. Wait, I could have just opened up server manager, but this way you guys just get some practice here. So it is 172.30.123.60. So that's what we're going to want to put here. So let's go 172.30.123.60. And we're going to click OK. And OK here. And now that should let us connect to that domain. Perfect. So it did work here. So in this computer name domain changes, so you're going to have to put in your domain account. So we're going to put jacked/jacked-admin and the password. Now this would be whatever account you created with all those permissions, or if you left it as just the default administrator account, you could use that one. And we're going to go ahead and we're going to click on OK here. And this will tell us that we have joined the jacked.ca domain. It's also going to tell us that we need to restart. So let's go ahead and let's reboot this system here. All right, so it is rebooting. So while this reboots here, we're actually going to go back onto our directory server here. And we are going to open up the Active Directory users and computers. Because what's cool about this now that we've just joined our computer, we will actually see it in our Active Directory here. So here it is, and we have computers here. And we will actually have the JPWin10C, which is the computer we just joined. So now if we go back to our Windows 10 machine here, and let's do a Control-Alt-Delete. So here, we're just going to select Other User. And as you can see here, we have the sign into Jacked, so that's the Jacked domain. But I'm just going to put Jacked / anyways, and we're going to put Jacked admin. And we're going to type in our password here. And there we are. We are logging in to the domain on our domain joined computer. So we actually do have now a hypervisor, which is hosting a domain controller, as well as a Windows 10 client, which is actually joined to that domain. So it's going to have to reconfigure some stuff because it just joined the domain. But that's pretty much it. In the next video, like I said, I'd really like to show you guys how to set up Windows 11. So be sure to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell to find out when that video gets released. And I will see you on the next video.